𝐈𝐦𴑐𝐩𝐸 may be slow as molasses when it comes to putting out updates for Valheim, but every time they do put out an update, they absolutely cook, and the newest update is no exception. So let's take a look at that update and everything it has to offer. Starting with what I think is the absolute best part of this update, and that is the battle brother and the archery target. Many of us like to just grind skills out as quickly as possible in whatever form we can do that is the least amount of danger. And for a long time, that has been very difficult to do. I actually have a bunch of different videos on different ways to go about doing this for different skills, but I'm actually happy to say that all of those are no longer needed because of the battle brother. And what's even better is you're going to be able to make this thing relatively early on in the game. It's going to cost you 5 fine wood, 10 bronze nails, and 5 ectoplasm. Ectoplasm is new, that now drops from ghosts. What this little guy is exactly his namesake. He's just a battle companion that you can't hurt and he can't hurt you, but he allows you to level your skills. He even does ranged attacks if you stand back from him a little bit so you can practice blocking ranged attacks. If you get close, he's got a couple of different attacks that he uses. He has just a quick attack and then he has a feint attack. And the best part about it is you can level literally any skill on this guy. You can level your blocking, you can level any of the weapons, and you can level a new addition, a new skill that they've added, which is dodging. Perfect dodging gives you experience in this skill, and the higher level this skill is, the less stamina you use to dodge. This little fella is an absolute fantastic addition to this game. You can just build a little fighting arena near your base somewhere and then go out there and practice on him and level any skill you want to level before you go out into the big wide world. And to go along with him, they have also given us the archery target. This will cost you 4 fine wood, 10 leather scraps. That's it. Not only does it score where you shoot so that you can have fun playing games with your friends with it, it also gives you points towards archery, so you can level your archery skills shooting at this target. One thing to note is it does need to be mounted on something. It doesn't just place on the ground. It actually has to connect to a wall or a pillar or something like that. But other than that, that's it. It's just an archery target that scores your shots and gives you experience towards archery. Two absolutely, if not some of the best additions to this game in this update. They also changed some stuff with combat, so they have added adrenaline. This is something that builds as you fight, and when you stop fighting, it ticks back down to 0. It is paired with one of 13 different trinkets, and what happens is when your adrenaline maxes out, it activates the power of said trinket. So let's take a look at these trinkets and what all they do. First up, we have Heart of the Forest. This trinket procs at 50 adrenaline, and it gives you increased health regeneration. It increases your health regen by 25% for a total of 60 seconds. What's great about some of these trinkets, like this one for example, is that 60 seconds in most cases is going to be long enough time for you to just keep it up the entire time during the fight, unless at some point you have a bunch of downtime. Next, we have the pulsating earrings. These proc at 65 adrenaline, and they give you plus 25% to your iter regen, and that also lasts for 60 seconds. The resounding shackle procs at 75 adrenaline, and it gives you a total of 100 stamina when it procs, and then it provides you with plus 10% to your slashing damage for a total of 60 seconds. The bronze pendant procs at 50 adrenaline, and it increases your stamina regen by 25% for 60 seconds. The evasion mantle procs at 60 adrenaline, and it will reduce the stamina needed for blocking by 50%. It will increase your parry bonus by 50%. It will increase your dodge skill by 20, which remember, the higher that is, the less stamina you use to dodge, and it lasts for 120 seconds. The iron brooch activates at 65 adrenaline, and when it activates, you will gain a burst of 50 health instantly, and then you will have an additional 20 armor for 30 seconds. Bracelet of the Brave activates at 85 adrenaline, and you will gain a burst of 100 health, so it'll just heal you for 100. It gives you plus 20 to your clubs, and then plus 10% to blunt damage, and that will last for 60 seconds. So do note here that if these have an active effect that's a one-off every time they proc, whenever you proc it, it will just refresh the duration of the cooldown and proc that one-off thing. Moving on, we have Brimstone. Brimstone takes 100 adrenaline to proc, and then when it does, you just get 100 health and 100 stamina. The Nimble Anklet, this procs at 60 adrenaline, and it will instantly regen 50 stamina and give you plus 15% to your movement speed for 30 seconds. The Crystal Heart procs at 80 stamina, and it will increase your resistance to blunt, slashing, and pierce damage for 50 seconds. I feel like this next one's kind of useless, but anyway, we have the Fins of Destiny. It procs at 10 whole adrenaline, so it's super easy to proc, and when it does, it increases your swim speed by 50%, decreases the stamina used needed to swim by 80%, and it lasts for 2 minutes. So I guess it's useful if you're going to swim somewhere, you attack something real quick, proc it, and then just jump in the water and swim away. I don't know. Next, we have the 𝐵𝐺𝐽. That is a mouthful to say. This thing is absolutely beastly. It procs at 70 adrenaline, you instantly gain 100 𝐈𝐸r, and then it increases your elemental magic and your blood magic by 20 for 60 seconds. Last but not least, we have Wolf Sight. This procs at 55 adrenaline, and it gives you plus 20 to bows, plus 20 to your spears skill. It increases your pierce damage by 10%, and it lasts for 30 seconds. The other really cool thing about these trinkets is when you equip them, you actually see them on your character depending on what they are. So if it's an anklet, it shows up around their ankle. If it's earrings, it shows up on their ears, which honestly is a nice touch. What sucks is it takes up another slot in your inventory, and they have yet to give us backpacks. Apparently, we are Vikings that can figure out how to make ballistas and catapults, but cannot figure out the simplistic nature of a simple backpack or a sack. Let's talk about 2 new creatures that they added. So first off, they added the bear, which can be found in the Dark Forest. They seem to be relatively rare. They're not super prevalent over there, but I was able to find one after a little bit of searching. They're an early game creature, so while a little bit daunting to look at, they're not too terrible to fight. They have a few basic attacks that are relatively easy to dodge, and then once you kill them, you'll get a paw, a trophy, some meat, and some bear hide, which are all used to craft the bear-specific armor, which consists of the headdress of the bear for the helmet, the chest is patterns of the bear, and the leg armor is loincloth of the bear. The armor value on these things is relatively lacking, but their perks are interesting. So once you have all 3 pieces equipped, you get the Berserk buff, which will increase your health regen by 30%, increase your stamina regen by 15%. It makes you slightly weak to blunt, slash, and pierce. However, you will gain increased slashing damage by 10% and increased chop damage by 10%. They also added the Vial, which is an undead bear. It acts just like the other bear, but it's undead and looks creepy. This can be found in the plains at nighttime. Now, I couldn't get one of these to spawn. I don't know if it's because I was doing some admin-y shenanigans with the time or what, but they would not spawn in the plains for me. I could not find one, but I just spawned one here in the forest so that you can see what they look like and how they act. They're a little bit bigger than the bear, but they have the same attack patterns and they hit like a truck, just like everything in the plains biome. And just like with the bear, they drop everything you need for the Vilebone armor set, which consists of the Vilebone Visage, which is your headpiece, the Vilebone Ribcage, which is your chest piece, and the Vilebone Drapes, which is your leg slot armor. Now, this one is very similar to the bear. It does have more armor on it, and while the bear favors health regen, this one favors stamina regen. It will give you plus 20% to your health regen, plus 40% to your stamina regen. It also makes you slightly weak versus blunt, slash, and pierce, and instead of an increase to slashing and chopping, you get 20% increased blunt and 20% increase to pierce. Now, both of these new sets of armor also came with some new fist weapons, which once again are made with the parts from their respective creatures. So for the bear, we got Paws of the Bear, which do 25 slash damage, use 6 stamina per strike. They have a block armor of 5, block force of 10, parry bonus of 6, parry adrenaline of 5, so this means when you parry with them, you will gain 5 adrenaline, a knockback of 20, and a backstab of 6. Then for the Vial, we got the Vilebone Maul Claws. These do 20 slashing and 60 pierce, use 12 stamina per attack, have a block armor of 5, a block force of 10, parry bonus of 6 times, parry adrenaline of 5, so same thing with the other ones, and their knockback is 20 and their backstab is 6 times. We also got 2 new battle axes, one for the plains, the black metal battle axe, and an upgrade for when you get to the Mistlands, the Skull Splitter. All right, now it's time for the rapid fire round. We got a bunch of bottled blobs. Essentially, these are throwables that spawn a blob. Do note that the blob is hostile towards you. The only reason it's not attacking me here is because I'm ghosted. You have the poison version, the oozer, the tar, the lava, and the frost. We got wooden versions of each of the weapons, so sword, greatsword, axe, so on. You get the idea. These do little to no damage. They're used for practicing. You can use them on your battle buddy, or you can use them on a friend. And yes, they do allow you to level their weapon skill. We also got 3 new hairstyles, 5 new beard styles. Perfect block no longer cost stamina. They reduced the movement speed penalty on battle axes, sledgehammers, and tower shields. They made improvements to vertical fighting. It's now easier to hit enemies on slopes. updates, they reworked all of the Forsaken powers. So 𝐴𝐽𝐷𝐪 now gives you 60% reduced stamina usage when running, jumping, and swimming. The ∆ now gives you 60% chopping and mining damage increase, as well as 30% health regen increase. Bowmass gives you 25% resistance to pierce, slash, and blunt damage, plus 100% reduced block stamina usage and 5 stamina on return per block. Motor kept the Tailwind ability, so you still always have Tailwind. You also get plus 300 increase to carry weight, which is kinda nuts, as well as 10% increased movement speed and 50% frost resistance. 𝐾𝐽𝐺𝐵𝐽 gives you 50% lightning resistance, plus 25 to your farming skill and 10% increase to your damage. The Queen gives you 100% increased iter regeneration, plus 100% reduced sneak cost, plus 50% poison resistance. 𝐵ADER gives you 100% adrenaline increase, plus 50% reduced stagger meter modifier, and plus 50% fire resistance. You can now put a bunch of new items on the item stands. They reworked the way that the ghost looks, and there was a ton of bug fixes. Alright, I think that pretty much covers everything that's worth knowing about this update. If you found this video helpful and informational, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.